College Settlement campers. I'm Mike Bishop. I was a counselor at College Settlement a long time ago.
Back when I was a young buck.
Now, I'm an ornithologist. Ornithologist. That's a big word for a scientist who studies birds. And one of the ways that I study birds is to capture them, so I can collect information about individuals that I couldn't learn simply by looking at them. How much does it weigh? How am I supposed to know how much it weighs? So I'm going to show you how I go about safely catching birds, collecting various kinds of data about those birds, giving them some bling, and then safely releasing them back into the wild. So join me as I take you out to one of my research stations where we're going to catch some birds, get bit by some mosquitoes, and maybe even learn something. Let's go. I arrive at my banding station a bit before dawn when I set up my processing site, like under this lovely little pavilion. I should point out that in order to capture and band birds out here or anywhere requires a federal permit, which I have. All birds in Canada, the US, and Mexico are protected under the Migratory Bird Treaty Act. This act prohibits the taking, killing, or possessing of any bird in these three countries. So don't try this at home, kids, unless you've got one of these, a federal bird banding permit. I open the nets at dawn. The nets have 4 pockets that run their entire length. These are what the birds fall into and get caught in. The nets are as difficult to be seen by the birds as they are for us to see. So, as they're moving around, they blunder into them and get caught unharmed. I check them every 45 minutes because we don't want the birds to hang in the net any longer than necessary. Then, we remove any birds that have been captured by carefully untangling them. Once they've been removed from the net, the birds are put in a cotton bag which quiets them down and allows me to carry them safely. Once all of the nets have been checked, we return to the processing site where I clip the bagged birds into this bag holder. This is also where I have all of my banding gear and measurement tools. I process each bird by identifying its species, then applying a uniquely numbered aluminum leg band that's the correct size for that species. The bands are provided by the United States Geological Survey. These special pliers open and safely close the bands around the bird's leg. Once closed, the band is secure from falling off, but loose enough not to cause any injury. I then determine the age and the sex of each bird, and I also collect some measurement data and some other general physical characteristics, which I'll discuss in a later video. Once that's completed, the bird is released unharmed in the hopes that I or someone else might recover the bird so we can gather more information for that individual at a later date. Now you know how I use mist nets to safely capture wild songbirds and study them up close. And personal. I love you, Northern Cardinal. You've also observed how I apply bands to their legs, and some of the other data that I collect. In my next videos, you'll see how I determine the age and sex of different species, how I go about measuring other physical characteristics, and why we bother putting bands on their legs in the first place. Fly, be free, but come back. Call me.